Okay, so we were completing the matrix here of grades, and we said that for strategic compares to financial, they are of equal importance. So the grade is 1. Of course, for the diagonal, it's 1. And finally, strategic compared to other criteria. So we go to this column here. So compared to other criteria, strategic is more important. So now, because strategic is the reference, we put the grade as it is. So we put a grade of 5. Okay, and as we said, once we complete, if you want this row, this one will be, we can automatically complete this one. Because if this is 5, this will be 1/5. Okay. And finally, this is already on the diagonal, so this is 1. Okay. So to summarize again, first, I put 1 on the diagonal. So the first step, I have my matrix. I put 1 on diagonals directly. Okay. Then I start to see what do I have. Stakeholder versus financial. I look here. Because B is more important, then stakeholders' commitment will have a low grade. So it's not 5, it's the inverse. It's 1/5. Okay. And automatically, when I have the same comparison, but now for financial as reference, okay, so it's symmetric if you want. The symmetric will be here. If this is 1/5, this will be 5. Okay. And now, when I compare stakeholder to strategic, B is more important. So I don't take the grade as it is. I take 1/9. So I put 1/9. And then I say I can deduce that here, the grade is the inverse. The grade is 9. And finally, a stakeholder versus other. It's same importance. So I put here 1. And then, of course, this one will be 1/1, which is 1. Okay. And then I move to the to financial now. Okay. So financial versus strategic. Just 1 second. Okay. So now financial versus strategic. I have that they have the score is 1. This means they have equal importance. So I put here 1, and automatically this one will be 1. And when I compare it to other criteria, because it's more important, so it will have a high grade. So it is 5. I put 5, and automatically I can fill this one by 1/5. And finally, I just still have two places to fill. So I have strategic versus other criteria. Strategic is more important. I put the grade as it is. So I put 5, and I deduce that this will be 1/5. Okay. So this is the first step. It is the conversion from the statistics that you did to fill the grades table. Okay. And now, how to get the weights for each of my criterion? All I have to do is the following. So first, the idea is to normalize. Okay. So here I have, I say, I will divide each number that I have by the total. Okay. So first you should do the total for each column. Okay, let us do it. So you should add a line, which is total. Okay, so here you have 1 plus 5 plus 9 plus 1 equals to 16. Okay, and you do the same here. You have 1 over 5, so 0.2 plus 1 plus 1 plus 0.2. Same for this column, 1 over 9 plus 1 plus 1. So plus 2 plus 1 over 5. 1 over 5 is 0.2 and plus 2.2. And finally, for the last one, you have 6 plus 6, it's a 12. Okay? So once you get the total for each column, you will divide each number by the corresponding total. And you will have here 1 over, and as I told you in class, to not have to produce two tables, you can change the color. And in the same table, you put here in the corner, if you want, the number over the total. So this is 1 over 16, 5 over 16, 9 over 16, and 1 over 16. Okay? And why now this number here will represent a first weight for the stakeholder? Because look, the more important this aspect, the highest the number here you will have. You know, it's, if stakeholders is very important, it will have a high score here. And the other criteria will have relatively low score. So when you divide this score over the total, if this criteria is important, you should get a high weight. Okay, so this is a first weight that you got from your pairwise comparisons. Okay, now a second weight can be calculated here, and this weight will be this number over the total. So here's the total will be 1.2 plus 1.2, 2.4. Okay, so you will divide all numbers of this column by 2.4. So it's 0.2 over 2.4. And this is a new weight for this criterion. Okay, 1 over 2.4, 1 over 2.4, and 0.2 over 2.4. Okay, now you will do the same for the other two columns. Now I will just complete for you this line to see how we get an average score. Okay, because this score is obtained from this pairwise comparison, these four pairwise comparison. This average weight is obtained based on these four pairwise comparison, etc. So here, for example, the weight that you will obtain for stakeholder is 1 over 9 divided by, if you add 1 over 9 plus 2.2, you will get a number. Okay, so you will get a new weight for stakeholders. And from the last column, you get that another weight based on these four comparisons is 1 over 12. Okay, so you obtained like four weights, and you want one average weight. This is why to get the average weight, you just have to add all average weights you got over the numbers of average weights. So here you have 1, 2, 3, 4 weights. You add them and you divide by 4. Okay, and you will do the same for each criterion. And to make sure that your calculation is right, you don't have any calculation error, if you sum the weights for all criteria, you should have a total of 100%. Okay, so let us see in detail how they did the calculation. So as we mentioned, the first step is to find the total. Okay, so you get the total for each column as we did. So you have, let's say, 16, 2.4, 2.31, 12. Next step, I fill a new table. And as I told you, you can do one table, just use different colors to not confuse numbers. So you just have to fill the numbers here. 1 over 16, 5 over 16, 9 over 16, etc. So this is what they did for the different columns. Okay. So now, once you have these, to get the weight for each one, so the weight for stakeholders will be 0.063 plus 0.083 plus 0.048 plus 0.083 over 4. The weight for financial will be 0.313 plus 0.417 plus 0.433 plus 0.417 over 4, etc. So you can now fill the tables of weights. Okay. And to verify you don't have calculation error, you do the summation. You should check that the summation will be equal to, so if you do 6.93 plus 39.46 plus 45.71 plus 7.89, you should get 100%. Of course, because some rounding error, you might get 99.9. It's fine. Okay, so due to small rounding errors, but it should be very close to 100%. Okay, any question on this? Okay, I can add to this problem. So here we just did a method to calculate weights, but I can add to this problem scores. Okay, so to have a complete problem, what can we give you? We can give you this table first that will help you to put weights for your different criteria. Okay, and then to be able to put to decide which if you want which project is the most important one, we need to have grades for the different alternatives. Okay, so until now, what did we do? We just found out what are the weights, okay, for our different criteria. Okay, so here the most important criteria is the strategic one. It has a percentage of 45.71%. The second the criterion of second importance is 39.46, followed by other criteria, and finally stakeholders commitment obtains the lowest weight. Okay, now how we can have a complete problem? I can tell you, for example, I have several projects to compare. Okay, so I have let's say projects A, B, C, and I will give you the following table, let's say. So let me open a new window. Do you see the white board? Let me know when you see the whiteboard, please.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, okay. So now I can give you the following. I can tell you that we have several projects to be compared. Okay, I want to compare 3 projects A, B, C. So I want you to tell me which one is the best one based on the criteria that we mentioned. Okay. So stakeholder commitment is the first criterion. We have the strategic issue, financial, strategic, and other. So financial, strategic, and other. Okay. And if you remember, we said that in the decision matrix, we can compare criteria that are very different. They can have completely different units. Okay. And for example, if we talk about financial issues, let's say we'll give a certain capital in dollars. Okay. So for example, let us consider that for project A, we need $20,000. For project B, 15,000. And let's say for C, it's 18,000. Okay. Now, when we talk about stakeholder commitment, so here, if you want, it's not it's you cannot have directly, it doesn't have a unit. Okay, but it's a factor, so it can be, you can give grade for this factor similar to the ones we used in the first problem. And when we used in the first problem, we said, let us say high, medium, low, for example. Okay, so the answers for stakeholder commitment are as follow. For A, we have low commitment, or let's say high commitment here. So the best commitment is for A, high commitment. And you have medium for this one, and low for this one. So let's say the answers was in this way. Okay. Now, how to put scores? So you should select a scale. For example, if you decided to choose the same scale, okay, as we did in the restaurant example, you can say I will put a score of 3 for high, 1 for low, and 2 for medium, for example. Okay. Then for strategic, also you don't have a unit. So also here you need to, it's a qualitative assessment. So also you can, the answers can be high, low, mid. Or what you can do, for example, you can ask people and tell them, uh, put for me a grade for this project on 10. So you do statistics. You can do statistics and tell them and put grades from 0 to 10. If you find that it's a very, it is not strategic at all, put 0. If it's very extremely strategic, put 10. If in between, let's say, you tell them based on each number, what do we mean? And if we mean very good or slightly good, etc. So more you divide, the better is. Okay. And for example, if you asked people and they gave you, you asked a big amount of persons, and as we said in class, you should ask all persons concerned with the project. Okay, the owner, the people affected by the project, etc. So you do statistics, you take several samples. Based on this, you put like the average result. So here, high, low, medium. Or here, if we go more into detail, we can, for example, let's say A got a grade of 7 over 10, B 8, and C 6, for example. Okay. And finally, also for other criteria, so here other is very wide. We are not mentioning something specific. We are lumping all other factors in one factor. Everything other than stakeholder, financial, and strategic. So also here we might ask to put like a grade. Put a grade for this project based on other criteria. Let's say for example, the grades were 9, 7, 8, for example. Okay. Next step will be to decide which project seems the most prominent one, the most promising one. Okay. To do this, first, don't forget to put the percentages that you got from your calculation. Okay. So we put the percentages. So let us go back to our part here to put the corresponding percentages. Okay, so for stakeholder, the percentage is 6.93. So here we put 6.93%. For financial, we have 39.46. So we put here 39.46%. For strategic, it's 45.71%. And finally, for other, it's 7.89%. Okay. And now what is the next step? Who remember? What is the next step before calculating the grade? Who can tell me? What should we do now? Yeah, very good. We should normalize, okay? Because now we have let's say numbers in dollars. We have scale from 1 to 3. We have another scale from 0 to 10. So they are not comparable at all, okay? So we should normalize again, okay? We should normalize all numbers to be able then to have one scale for all grades, okay? So in general, we can tell you a scale, put a grade between 0 and 100, or put a grade between 0 and 10. So we can specify for you what is the scaling that we want to do, okay? Let's say, for example, scale on 10, on 100, okay? So all you have to do is the following. We use the formula that we developed together in the course material, which is the following. To put a grade, okay, we take the number. So we put the numbers that we have minus the worst number. Yani what is the worst will have the lowest grade. So we take the number minus the worst, okay, over the best. So the grade of the best option minus the worst. Let us try to do it here, okay? And if I tell you put the grade on 100, you multiply by 100. If I tell you put grades from 0 to 5, you multiply by 5. From 0 to 20, you multiply by 20. Yani, this formula will always be the same, but to decide which number to multiply by, it depends on what is the grade that you want to give. It is a grade between 0 and 5, between 0 and 20, between 0 and 100. So let us consider here that the grade is between 0 and 100. Okay, so I will multiply by 100. I will start by the first column. Okay, the best option is one with a score of 3. Okay, so automatically the best option will always have the highest score, which is here. If you do the formula, okay, the number is 3 minus the worst scenario has a grade of 1. So 3 minus 1 over best minus worst, 3 minus 1. So it's 1. 1 times 100, so no need to apply the formula. You can directly say that the best option will have a score of 100, okay? And the worst option will have a score of 0. So, but just you can verify the formula using this method. So now, if you put here for a grade of 1, you put 1 minus 1, it's 0, over 3 minus 1, so you get 0. It's right. It should have the lowest grade. Now, for med, for option C, which is the median, it received an answer of median. You have to do the number, the grade is 2. So 2 minus 1 over 2. So the grade will be 1 over 2 times 100. So it's 100 over 2, which is 50. So then the score here will be 50. Okay, let me put the scores in another color so you can see the difference. Okay, so here you have scores of 100, 0, and 50. This we in this way we scaled, we normalized the first column. Okay, we'll do the same for the second one. Please pay attention. Not always the highest number is the good score. You should check. You should check the criteria. Okay, so that's why in the problem of restaurant, because always the 3 was the highest score, we paid attention how we name the criteria. Here already score, we have grades, so we should determine what is the worst scenario, what is the best scenario. When it comes to the cost, of course, the best case is the one with the lowest financial cost. So the best option here is B. Okay, so the grade of 100 should be given to option B, and the grade of 0 should be given to the one with the highest cost, which is 20,000. So here the grade will be 0. Okay, after this you have for 18,000 you need to perform calculation. So you say the number that I have is 18,000 minus the worst scenario is characterized by a capital of 20,000. So minus 20,000. Okay, and over the best price was 15,000. So over 15,000 minus 20,000. Okay, so now all you have to do is to do the calculation. So this is equal, this will be equal to, if you want 1,000 will cancel out. So you have 18 minus 20, so minus 2 over 15 minus 20 minus 5. So it's 2 over 5 times 100, it's 40. So the grade is 40 for this option, or option C. Okay, now we move to normalize scores for strategic. So here the scores are already based on a scale. We put the scores based on from 0 to 10. Okay, but if we are using this method, we need to convert the scores to get them between 0 and 100. So here for strategic, we said that the one that is the most strategic will have a high grade and the least strategic will have a low grade. So to be able to compare them based on a certain normalized scale, we say the best option got a score of 8. So for us, this is 100. And the lowest score is for the worst option. The score is 6. So here 6 will represent a grade of 0. And now 7, which is in between, we need to calculate the corresponding score. So we do 7, which is the number that we have, minus the number for the worst case, which is 6. So 7 minus 6 over the best score is 8 minus the worst score, which is 6. So also here we got 1 over 2, which is 50. So the score for 7 will be 50. And it is reasonable because 7 is just in the middle of 6 and 8. While here it will be different, okay? So now for other, if you want to scale the grades from 0 to 100, the highest score is for the most important option. So this is 100. The lowest score is for 7. So this is 0. Okay. And finally, for this one, we will do 8, the number, which is 8, minus the worst case, which is 7, over 9 minus 7. So we got here 1 over. Here also it's the same because 8 is directly between 7 and 9. Look, I will change it just for you to see how it will change. Let me put other scores, okay? I will put, so here, for example, I will put 6 instead of 7, okay? So if you have here 6 instead of 7, you'll do 8 minus 6 over 9 minus 6, okay? So it's equal to 2 over 3 because it's not, 8 is not at the middle of 6 and 9. So you get a score of 66.67%. And you can keep it in ratio form. So you say the score is 200 over 3. Okay. Once you are done with normalizing your scores, you have grades between 0 and 100. Now you should find the total score for each option. So I will put in a new color the total score for each option. So all you have to do is to add a column. So you add here a column of total. Okay, but I will do the calculation not here because I don't have space. I will put here the calculation. Okay, so all you have to do is you multiply the score for each option by the corresponding weight. So you have 100 times 6.93%. So if you want 100 over 100 will cancel out. So it's 6.93. 6.93 plus. So here you have 0 times the percentage, so it's 0. Plus, we have 50 times 50 over 100, 0.5. So 0 plus 0.5 times 45.71. So 0.5 times 45.71 plus 100 times 7.8%. So it's a plus 7.89. Okay. Can anyone please, meanwhile, do the calculation for the score here? Now, if we calculate for B, okay, for B, the score will be 0 plus 100 times 39.46%, yani plus 39.46 plus 100 times 45.71, so it's plus 45.71 plus 0 plus 0. And finally, For the last option, we have 0.5 times 6.93 plus 0.4 times 39.46 plus 0 and plus 200 over 3. So 200 over 3 over 100, so 2 over 3 times 7.89. Okay. And now after I do the calculation of the different values, I can determine what the highest score will be for the most important option. Okay. So based on the scores, I can order my alternatives from the more important to the most important to least important one. Okay. Did anyone perform the calculation, or I do it? Let me do it here. So you have first for A 6.93 plus 0.5 times 45.71 plus 7.89. So the score for the first option is 37.675. Okay. So 0.675. Let us find the total score. So this is the final score for A. Now for B, so for B we do 39.46 plus 45.71. So 85. So of course B is much more important than A, 17. And finally, for the last option, 0.5 times 6.93 plus 0.4 times 39.46 plus 2 times 7.89 over 3, 24.509. So the most important is B, followed by A, and finally the least importance is for project C. Okay, so if